Hey guys, what I want to show you today is how to input stats into our Hockey Shift database. So if you're helping input stats, this is a nice little video to show you how to do it. So what you're going to have is you're going to have the official game score sheet printed out that I'm going to give you. And I put mine right down in front of the monitor. Okay, that's the first you're going to have. Then when you log into the system here, you're going to select schedule. Then you're going to go to EMRHL. And then select your season. Okay, no matter what season you're working on, it'll pop up the season. Now we're working on the 2001-2002 Saturday season. This is a classic season, okay? And then you want to click on entire season. If the schedule doesn't come up, you want to click on entire season, and that'll bring up, as you see, the full schedule. It shows you what games have inputted and what games have not. But the full schedule should be here. Now we are working on October 6th at 10:50, which is actually 11 o'clock. So it's what is that? Skid Row Twisted Sister. Okay, here we are right here. Skid Row Twisted Sister. The time was off on my score sheet, but this is the October 6th game. So we're going to click on score, and that's going to bring us to the roster. Now this is the most important page, and this is the most difficult page, is to get the roster set. So you want to look at your score sheet, and then you want to compare it to what's on the screen over here. I always start with my goalie, okay? So we got Mike Strauss in net, so we're going to click him, and then I get on the rest of my roster. I got Terry, and I got Dave, and Joe, and myself was in this game, Bill, and Jimmy, and Mike, and Al. Okay, so they are all on the roster on the left-hand side, so I'm going to check them all off. Now I go on the right-hand side, okay? I start with a goalie. Now, on my thing here, you see Bill Collins is in net. Now, Bill Collins is not on this roster. Okay, so I can add him down here at the bottom, add away player, and then type in his first Bill Collins. Here he is. Bill Collins, and I'm going to give him a number, 00, because that's what it says on the score sheet. He's a goalie, so I got to change position to goalie, and then I'm going to add. So now Bill Collins will come up on the Twisted Sister roster. Now you can see they have 3 goalies listed here. You only check off the one goalie that's starting. Okay, sometimes at the bottom of the sheet you'll see the spare goalie over here at the very bottom, and he'll be listed. So how you can find the goalie is right here. It says the number of the goalie who's playing. We have 00 in net, so that's who you match it up with on the score sheet. So the first thing is to get your goalies done, as I mentioned. So now we're going to go down the rest of the list. Okay, we have these guys here. We have Cause. We have Nolt. We have Keith. We have Dennis. We have Greg. And we have Dave. Now, if there was someone here, like I just mentioned, you can create, if there's someone here, you can always add the away player. Now, if there's a spare player, sometimes we have spare players, and we would call them, Jared Subway or something like that. So you could create a game spare. Now, there's no name. It's just a game guy. So you just give him whatever number, 79, and add. Okay, so now 79 is added as a spare, so at least it's a placeholder for goals and assists, okay? But he didn't play, so we can uncheck him, and that's fine, we don't need him. So now that we have our starting goalies and our rosters all selected, we're going to go to continue to score a game up here on the right-hand side. So now that brings us up to our main menu, where we're going to input goals and assists. And again, on the score sheet, you'll see the scoring on the left and the penalties down below for the home team on the left, and on the right it's the away team, the same thing. Now the shots on net, I'll go over in a minute. They're in the middle. That's a little confusing, but we'll go over that. So here's the interface here. You can do this many different ways. So the first goal, you got to click on goal. So Skid Row got a goal. It was number 26. Now you see, you just pick from the numbers. It's really cool. Number 26 scored, and the time was 12:02, and then you save. And it's that simple. To save, now when you go to the goal here, you have the option of changing everything: the time, the player, the period, the whole bit. Okay, I'm going to cancel out of this. So where this is right here, this period up here, how it says 1, every time you go to enter something, it's going to default to the period up here. So we're going to go 3, from 19, and that was 0235, and we're going to save. So if you wanted to rip through all the goals, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that right now. The next goal was second period at 13:00. 11 got it, save. Go to the next goal, and that was in the third period, 10:40, number 1. And then the final goal for this team, and you can do this in any order. So I'm going to do 11 from 1. I'm going to change the time and then change the period. So that is all the scoring for Skid Row. If there's a lot of goals scored in a period, you can change it. So I'm going to log in right now. I'm going to log in the Twisted Sister goal. So we got a goal here. Number 8 scored it in the first period, 0925. So I'm going to save. Now look at a couple goals in the second. So if I change this to second period, what this does is it changes it here, and it just saves me a step from having to change the period when I enter the goal. So 15's got a goal. Then we have 44, 8, and 10 at 0404. Now, on this one here, I don't know if you can pick this up here, but I have PP and PP. That's power play. So this goal at 404, and then the next one at 850 are power play goals, and that's the only way I can really convey power play or shorthanded, okay? So at 404, 44, 8, and 10, just change even strength to power play, save. That's all there is to it. I'm going to change the period. So now when I enter my next goal, which is the third period, at 850, and again, all the times have to be 4 digits if you'd noticed. So 77 scored in the third period, unassisted. That was a power play. And then I'm going to finish my last couple of goals, 8, 44, 07, actually 07, 18, 8 and 44, third period, and the final goal is at 0623, 15. Okay, 15 from 44. Oops. I made a mistake. I put 15 from 77. I'm going to go back and edit. Click over here, change it to 44, and save. In worst case, I can go back and delete this goal. Say, yep, I screwed up. I want to do that again. Maybe I've put in goals at the same time, so I put 718 in twice. You can always delete it. Just delete the goal or delete the penalty. So we're going back to the final goal, 0623. 15, 44, done. So I checked my score. It was 6-5, 6-5 now. At the bottom, I got my penalties I got to add. So there were 2 penalties over here. So I'm going to change this to second period just to save myself a step. Okay, so it was a tripping call. So I'm going to go click on tripping. Now this was on the goalie. So 0-0 gets the penalty, and I type in the time and save. There was another penalty here. It was high sticking on 22. 22 with a high stick. Now this was third period, so I'm going to change the period. 0926. Save. The other side had 1 penalty, and it was a roughing on number 2. Now I don't have... Oh, I'm sorry, it's number 26. Number 26. 2 is the minutes. Okay. So that was third period. And 1711. Save. Okay, so now I got 6-5. I have all the penalties, and you can double check over here. So I'm going to click just on the goals tab. It's going to show me the goals. So I'm going to click on the penalties. Yep, I got a second period and a third period and a third period. That's all my penalties. Okay. If you needed to pull the goalie, where that would be is on the goalie shots right here. In the third period, instead of saying 0-0-0, you would see 0-100 or 0-130 whenever the goalie is pulled. So you would go to change goalie, whatever team pulled it in the third period at 0-1, change the pull, no goalie coming in, and you would save. And that would pull the goalie to allow for any open net goals. And I would indicate that on the score sheet as well. So there was no goalie pulled, so I'm going to cancel this. So the last thing I like to do after I put in my goals and my penalties and pull the goalie, I go to my goalie saves. So now Skid Row was on the left. Okay, so the Skid Row goalie saw this many shots. So he saw 11, 11, and 13, but I have to subtract the goals. So he has 11 minus 1 is 10. He has 11 minus 2 is 9. and he had 13 minus 3 is 10. So those are his saves. Now notice this little orange dot here. When it turns to green, it's saved. So you got to give it a second to save, because if you click around too fast, what will happen is it won't save. So you might go back to the score and then go back to goalie saves and be like, geez, there's nothing here. Well, you didn't give it a chance to save. So always let that green dot come up and get the save. So now I'm going to go to Twisted Sister. So 13 minus 2 is 11. 15 minus 1 is 14. And then in the 13, the Twisted Sister goalie saw 20 minus 2 is 18 saves. So it's actually the saves, not the shots. And then right here, it turns to green, and we're good. So I like to go back to my score, look it all over one last time. 6-5. It shows my shots on net. It shows who the goalies are. I can check my goals, my penalties, the whole bit. And we're done. This is a little bit longer because we had 11 goals and a couple of penalties, and I was trying to explain it along the way. But the last thing you do is go up here and go final. And that saves it in the system. Now, again, everything can be fixed. So I'm going to refresh this right here. Now I got to call up the season again. So if you happen to refresh, you do got to select the season you're working on. So go back to here, show entire season. And I'm going to go to this game that we did. So let's just say, oh, I think I made a mistake. It's already final. I can still go back to the score and change anything on here that I have to. And actually, that's what happens when I get home and I do all the stats and someone said, oh, yeah, I had an assist. I can go into any goal, add an assist if I want to. So it's that simple. So I'm going to close out of this game up here. And basically, that's how to enter stats on our new stats system. I hope that helped. Thanks.